Hello and welcome to a watercolor painting video. Let's start out with brushes. Although there's different types of brushes, I prefer to use round brushes, and the nice thing about round brushes is that you can vary the size or width of your lines, all the while keeping that round shape. Although there's a variety of sizes you can achieve at one round brush, the amount of water the brush can hold depends on the size of the brush. So a tiny brush like I am using here will hold much less water on the brush than a bigger brush, and thus the amount of paint it holds is different. So because the smaller brush holds less water, I'll have to dip my brush in the paint more often, but I have more control to make finer lines. But let's say you're using one brush to make a variety of different line widths. How do you do that? Well, that depends on the amount of pressure you are putting on the brush. The more firmly you press down your brush on the paper, the hairs will fan out and you'll get a thicker line and cover more area. And the opposite is true. The more lightly you hold your brush above the paper, the more pointed your brush tip will be, the thinner the line, and the smaller the area you'll be able to cover. Now, what about the amount of water on your brush? With watercolors, the more water you mix your paint in, the more diluted the color, and the lower the viscosity or thickness, so it'll move more like water. Whereas the less water you mix the paint in, the more concentrated the paint will be, and the higher the viscosity, so it will be thicker. So if your paint mix is too thick, mix more water, but if it's too light, mix more paint. If you're trying to line where your brush end is looking dry, then it's not holding enough water, so dip your brush into some. But if you see you're placing down your brush mark and a ton of water is just escaping onto the page without you having to put all that much pressure into it, then you've got too much water on your brush. And what I like to do is, if I visually see that my brush looks loaded with water and I need steady control for what I'm about to do, I'll wipe off some of that excess water on a paper towel I have off to the side. Because watercolors is activated with water, you can control your paints by controlling your water. So the amount of water you're mixing into your palette, the amount of water you're picking up and drying off your brush, and the amount of water you have on your paper, which sounds like a lot, but the more you practice, the more these will become reflexes for you. Anywho, that was a lot of information. See you guys in the next video.